In this video, I'll be sharing my personal story and how we lost 6 houses to demolition right here in the city of Abuja. I'll give you a background story to that and the lessons learned, and how I do not want anyone who is seeing this video or who come across me in the real estate sector to experience the same issues we had earlier on while we began investing in the city of Abuja. My name is Ibi Victor, your Abuja favorite trotto, and I bring you the best of real estate investment right here in the city of Abuja. If you are just coming across this channel, do well to subscribe, like, and share this video so that you get more content like this when we share them on this channel. Like I said earlier, this is a personal story. It was because we had little or no knowledge about real estate or how land acquisition ought to be done. The fact is, while the then FCT minister El-Rufai was in power, there was this mass demolition that took place right here in the city of Abuja. And I would like to say that my family was greatly hit by that particular exercise. And it did a whole lot to us as a result of the fact that we had so many investments right here in Abuja that were not rightly acquired, not because we intended not to acquire them rightly. The fact is, if we just see a good location, we decide to key into that location, put up a structure, and boom, we had that, particular property. But at the time El-Rufai came on board and the demolition exercise came to play, we realized that those acquisitions were not done rightly, and we lost a whole lot to that particular exercise. One thing we've said sufficiently on this channel is the fact that Abuja is a planned city, and everything that connects or relates to real estate has to be regulated. And the body in charge of regulating development right here in the city of Abuja is the Federal Capital Development Authority, which is the FCDA. Now, the fact that you did an acquisition wrongly, or you actually got a particular property without following the due process, does not evade the fact that there's an immediate danger that you might experience in the future. Because as long as the master plan exists, once development gets to that part where you have made that acquisition, if it is not rightly acquired or do not meet the standard of the master plan at the time, that building, that property is either going to be revoked or demolished. The question is, what led to this demolition and why did we lose this property? The fact is that those properties were not duly acquired. Those properties were just acquired from maybe a chief, from a community head, without following the necessary procedure to go ahead to regularize the documents of that property. So at the time the demolition took place, as long as you didn't have the right papers from the authorizing body, we lost that property. So those properties were not, duly acquired from the right sources. And that was why those properties went down. So what led to us losing most of those property was the fact that we acquired those properties from a chief, a community head, or whatever, without necessarily following up to regularize the document, register it with the authorized body. And we ended up losing those properties. So for those who intend to invest in the city of Abuja, it is expected that you follow due process while acquiring your property in the city of Abuja, because most of the demolition we hear about or the revocation we hear about is as a result of people not following the rights or the laid down rules that governs land acquisition right here in the city of Abuja. If you follow it, then you don't have anything to worry about or fear when it comes to acquisition of land or properties right here in the city of Abuja. The second reason why this demolition affected us was the fact that it was against the master plan. Whatever we've put on ground was not in line with the plan of Abuja at the time. It was not in line with the development that is supposed to be done within that particular area where we had those properties situated at the time. So whatever you do in the city of Abuja, if it's not in line with the master plan, if it's not in line with what is stipulated for that particular area, there's definitely going to be issues in the future. Just like you find right now in the city of Abuja, where you hear of revocation, you hear of demolition and all of that. The fact is, certain people decide to put up commercial structures where you should find residential structure, or put up residential structures where you should find commercial structure, and all of that. So these are some of the reasons why this demolition or revocation take place. And it is part of the reason the demolition, as at the time of the then FCT minister, affected us. The fact is, during the demolition at the time, one of the houses of a top politician right here in Nigeria was demolished as a result of the fact that his house was built on a sewage line And trust the then minister, he was one who was not ready to look at anybody's face, and he brought down that particular house. That's to tell you that when it comes to the master plan of Abuja, nobody takes it lightly. They always want to follow the due process and ensure that the right thing is being done. Another reason why that demolition took place was the fact that some of those allocations were unauthorized. Now, we understand that in the FCT, we have the FCDA as an issuing body for lands, or those who can allocate lands to people. We also have the area councils. We should understand the fact that the body in charge of issuing land as it relates to the FCT is the FCDA. And based on the Land Use Act of 1978, all lands belongs to the federal government. Now, one thing about that act is the fact that the federal government has the right to decide which area is an urban area and which area is a rural area. So as soon as the federal government sees a place and it has potential for development, and they've looked at the area, they can decide that this particular area should no longer be a rural area, but should be developed to become an urban area. So as soon as this happened, the area that we looked at as rural had already grown to become an urban area. And so every acquisition that was done there and that was not done rightly was definitely revoked, and demolition took place. So it is important to ensure that any acquisition you are doing in the city of Abuja should be authorized and must be rightly acquired to avoid any form of interference by the government in the future. The final reason why this particular demolition took place and affected us and so many other persons is the fact that there were several violations of federal government regulations. Now, just like I mentioned earlier, there was a house that was demolished during that period that was sitting on a sewage line. As long as you decide to go against federal government regulations as relates to, building and all of that, you are going to definitely have problem with the government. Now, there are rules that guide development in the city of Abuja. You can't put up a residential building where it is supposed to be commercial. You can't put up a religious center where it is supposed to be an educational institution and all of that. So once this takes place, or once this happens as a result of you defaulting, definitely the government will come for you. But if you decide to follow the laid down rules and play by the books, then you will not have any issue with the government. I'm saying all of this to say that Abuja is a well-planned city, and for you to acquire or invest in lands in the city of Abuja, it is important that you follow the laid down rules that is being stipulated by the federal government, or the guiding principle that guides land development, land acquisition in the city of Abuja, to ensure that you do not end up having issues with the federal government or the regulating body in the city of Abuja. I believe you got value from my explanation and my story today. I'll see you in my next video, and if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so. And also, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get more videos like this when we share them on this channel. My name is Ibi Victor, your Abuja favorite realtor. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.